Since last year, my girlfriend, 25, has been staying with me, 26 male. I pay rent, food, everything, and I've been putting in extra hours to fast-track my career. The only problem with this is she is demanding I have to speak to her every half hour on Skype and always let her know where I am, where I'm going, and when I'm not working, I have to spend time with her. The last few months she has been complaining that I don't give her all the attention she needs, and I have sat her down and said that when I'm not with her, I am building a life for us. Here is where the problem comes in. The last few weeks she hasn't been asking for any attention. I mean none. When I come home, she's happy and talks to me, but it's dead silence in the day. I know this girl better than her parents. Talking is like breathing for her. But if she isn't communicating with me, then with who? Can't be her friends, because not one of them can talk to her for too long. I asked why she's so quiet, and she said she's just really busy. How can being unemployed be busy? I know this must sound crazy from an outside perspective, but I can't shake the feeling that she's getting her emotional outlet from someone else. I can feel it in my bones. Something is off, and it's killing me. She has never cheated to my knowledge, and I've never ever suspected or thought she was capable till now. I feel sick to my stomach just suspecting this, but I don't know. I just feel as if something is wrong. Well, you having to contact your SO every 30 minutes is unhealthy, but anyway, maybe she just took your advice, since you know you guys talked about it. When some people react to something, they go over the top. She was probably upset that you said you couldn't spend all your time with her, which is reasonable, so she's exaggerating your solution by cutting all daytime contact, hoping on making you feel uneasy. It's pretty immature, but just write it out. Her stubborn actions will cool off a little, and you guys may settle into a more normal groove. If anything, it sounds like your relationship has actually improved. Previously, she was bugging you all the time. Now she's not. If she's still affectionate with you when you're together, then I think all you have is a hunch. Either way, let's put things in perspective. You're at the stage where you believe your girlfriend is flat out lying to your face. Either you're being extremely paranoid or something is going on. So either drop it or go full out Ace Ventura, but choose one. Break up with her. You already have 4 potential new girlfriends commenting here who would love to mooch off you. Look through her phone and email. Screw it, you pay for everything. You probably pay for her phone, computer, and internet too. Sometimes our gut feelings are right. Believe me, I had a gut feeling my SO was cheating. And yeah, he was. Update. I think my girlfriend is cheating on me, but I might just be paranoid. First off, thanks to everyone who replied to my last post. It's been a hard few days. Okay, so I decided to chat with my girlfriend, but only after some snooping. Long story short, now I know she's cheating on me with one of her friends. From what I have gathered from the messages, they've slept together a few times and she has no intention of leaving me, but that makes me feel even worse. In the messages, I found the guy was pleading with her to leave me, to which she then replied that he would never be able to look after her like I do. So she was with me because I got money. This has completely killed me. I feel like I have broken every bone in my body. I've taken off of work. I'm sitting at a friend's house trying to figure out how to confront her about this. There's no way that I'm not going to break up with her, but I still don't know what to tell her. I don't want to shout or cry or whatever. I want her out of my life. I want to pretend that this never happened and that I did not waste 5 years investing in a relationship that was founded on lies. Just stay strong. Don't let her talk her way out of it. She'll get emotional. She'll turn on the waterworks. She'll say it didn't mean anything. She'll claim she only said you care for her better because she knew he wouldn't accept that she loves you more. She'll say it was your fault for not paying enough attention to her. She'll say if you leave her now, it'll prove she was right to cheat on you. She'll try to turn it around and make the argument about you spying on her. She'll say anything to keep her hand in your wallet. Don't let her. Cut her loose. Think of it this way. You did not waste 5 years of your life. You didn't marry her, have a child, and then find out she cheated on you. Although it's a crappy thing to experience, what you did was in fact gather experience. Now you know how sneaky some people can be. They might tell you to your face that they love you over everything else, but in reality they're sleeping with someone behind your back. Now you know, and can use your experience to avoid getting hurt like that in the future. Just fade away, block every possible way she could contact you, and disappear out of her life. She does not deserve an explanation from you. She chose to destroy this relationship. You now have to look out for yourself. You'll miss her at first because you're just used to having her around, but that'll soon pass when you meet some cool new women. Be glad you won't be dealing with alimony and kids. Talk to a lawyer if you can afford it, or do some research into how you can legally evict her ASAP. Final update. I think my girlfriend is cheating on me, but I might be paranoid. Wow, forgot about this update with everything that happened. So on the day that I found out about her infidelity, I called my boss and took 2 days off of work to sort out this mess. I went over to my best friend's flat, had a long chat with him, but eventually he had to leave for work, so I sat on his couch alone drinking whiskey. Meanwhile, my girlfriend at the time was in my flat. I owned the flat, totally oblivious to the fact that I knew, but in my drunken state I devised my plan. Later that day, after sobering up, I called my girlfriend. I told her that I have to imminently leave on a business trip as my boss, who was supposed to go, suddenly fell ill, and that I'll only be returning on Monday. She complained about me working all the time and how the company does not value me. At this point, I'm grinding my teeth and just using every bit of my willpower not to shout at her. I tell her that I'll make it up to her by buying her a weekend spa trip at a spa hotel 2 towns over. She agrees and the plan is set in motion. So I sleep over at my friend's place as I am out of town on business. I call her the next day to say that I booked her a bus ticket and spa. She gets angry that she can't use my car, but I tell her that the car has been breaking these last few days and I don't want her to be stranded 2 towns over. Bus leaves at 12, so I called her at 12:10 to hear if she had left. 12:40 I arrive at the flat and categorize everything in 2 piles, mine and hers. 1 p.m., the 2 moving trucks arrive that I organized yesterday. A bunch of guys arrive and start to pack everything into 2 boxes. 3 p.m., locksmith arrives, changes locks. 4 p.m., trucks are packed and all is good. So the one truck is taking my stuff to my friend's house. At the same time, the other truck is taking all her stuff to a storage locker. I block her on all social networks, phone, email, etc. My friend goes over to the guy she cheated on me with, gives him the key to the storage locker, and tells him what I did. He leaves out the part where I'm going to stay. I get back to my friend's house, and we open up a bottle of wine and drink to new beginnings. My flat is a nice place. I can make more money off it by renting it out and staying at my friend's house, low rent. And in a few good years, after I pay off the loan, I can sell it. I bought this place to make money off it, but my girl convinced me to stay there. I don't want her to find me here. I email a photo of her to my workplace security office and tell them that this woman has been harassing me and now knows where I work. She also claims that she's my girlfriend. Please don't let her into the building. Next, I canceled the credit card I gave her in my name and stopped all money that I put into her accounts every month. So over the course of the week, she has tried contacting me multiple times. She only came to my work once, but I think security probably scared her so bad that she won't come back. Every message I get that starts with "I'm so sorry," I delete it without even reading it. She made her bed, she should lay in it. So for better or worse, I'm done with her. This was so satisfying to read. You seem to be an extremely generous guy, which is all well and good. But in future relationships, please consider dialing it back a bit. Taking care of rent and bills for your girlfriend, giving her a credit card in your name that you pay for. All these sorts of things makes you a target for women who will take advantage of your giving nature. Even if a relationship doesn't start out that way, clearly some women will use your incredible generosity as the only reason they'll stay with you. But yes, this was well done. A clean break. I wish you all the best. This kind of thing will get you into trouble. Once someone has established residence, you can't just lock them out. You have to go through legal channels to have them evicted. I see many people always act like doing this is a great idea, when in reality, in the US, it's an illegal eviction. But how could she establish that she actually lived there? He paid the bills. The lease was in his name. So good luck proving she was anything more than an occasional visitor. Paperwork does not know who she is. Oh, Pete, that is some cold-blooded awesome. Did you actually book her the spa thing? I suppose you had to in order to actually keep her there all day. Anyway, nice job and congratulations. You'll be a lot better off with someone who isn't with you for your money and the things you give them. My ex-husband is remarried to a very nice woman, Vanessa. They've been together for 8 years. While my ex-husband and I have 3 kids together, Vanessa cannot have any biological children. However, she's been an amazing stepmom to my kids, and I feel safe with them going there every other week. However, over the past 5 years that they've been married, Vanessa and my ex have fostered children in hopes of adopting. They fostered a baby girl for 3 years, from the time she came home from the hospital, and she ended up reuniting with family. It was extremely hard on the kids and my ex and Vanessa. Immediately after, they began fostering another child, 5 years old, and were supposed to adopt them. However, right before Christmas, he was reunited with his biological father that they originally had no information on. This has been incredibly hard for the kids. They are devastated and started going to therapy after their first foster sister was removed from the house. Recently, my older 2 came to me and said they could not take another loss. They keep getting very attached to these foster siblings, only to have them ripped away. It's not the fault of their dad or stepmom, and it's also amazing that these kids get to stay with their biological family, the goal of foster care, but it doesn't change how hard it is on them. They told me that their dad and stepmom have been talking about taking on a new placement in the new year, and have said that they won't live with their father if they do so. They had tried talking to him, but all they had gotten was, "It's the reality of foster care." I went to my ex and Vanessa to talk about the kids. They kept saying that this is the reality of foster care, that it hurts them too, but they feel they're at least offering a loving and safe home to these kids. I asked what about the kids that they already have? My ex-husband argues that they'll be off to college soon. I asked why they couldn't at least wait for one of the older 2 to leave the house, and they asked what if Vanessa got pregnant? Would they get to control that? I argued that it'd be different. That's not a sibling they'd risk losing. I ultimately said what the kids did. If they continued to foster, our elder kids would choose not to come around as much, and I'd support them in court. If our youngest wanted to keep up the custody agreement, that's fine, but I'd keep them in therapy. My ex called me and said Vanessa had been sobbing all weekend after my threat. He says it's not fair to ask them to do this and make them decide. I told him it's up to him to decide what he could live with. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. These kids sound old enough to understand the reality of foster care, that the goal is reunification. I understand being upset that a foster sibling they've created a bond with that is reunified with their bio family is difficult, and it's great they've made an effort to bond, but they and you are old enough to understand that you can't dictate what other people do with their lives. Your wife and his ex provide a loving, safe, and supportive environment for children in need. Instead of making them feel guilty, how about you take the opportunity to teach your children about the importance of foster care and how much it means to kids less fortunate than themselves? Not the idiot. Firstly, they should not be going into fostering with the sole intention of adopting, unless they are explicitly taking in only children who have already had the goal of their case changed to adoption, which doesn't seem to be the case here. The goal of foster care is always first and foremost reunification. Adoption should only become the goal where necessary. They will struggle to be good advocates for those children when their goal is to take that child away from their family. Secondly, wanting to help kids in need should not and cannot come at the deficit of the well-being of their existing children. So you're right to stand up for your children. Yes, I too was wondering if the ex and his new partner were leaning too heavily into the adoption goal and making it seem that these kids would become permanent members of the family, when it is clear by now that that can change at a moment's notice. It is not your children who don't understand the reality of fostering. It is your ex and Vanessa. Update: I did reach out to my ex and his wife. I apologized for telling them that they shouldn't foster again, as that part is none of my business. I shared that I felt it might be beneficial for them and the kids to see a family therapist or mediator so all sides can be heard. They agreed that's a good idea, and will find a different therapist just so there's no bias, which I support. What happens from this point is beyond my control and business. I hope my children can continue to have a solid and healthy relationship with their father and stepmother. My parents have a habit of giving a gift and then later adding conditions on. I'll give a couple of examples. I got a gift card for the mall at Christmas, though it was just a gift. But then weeks later, after I'd made plans of how to spend the money, sports gear, my parents said the first thing I needed to buy was school supplies for the spring. Then I could use the rest on the fun stuff. Then after that, I'd need to buy clothes for school to replace the clothes I thought were fine, but then I could spend the rest on myself. After they made me buy all that, nothing was left. I feel like all I got for Christmas was the hassle of being made to go out and buy things I didn't want. When I get gifts for my birthday, my parents hold them over my head, like to say that I'd be the childcare for my siblings, nieces, and nephews on a family vacation, or else they'd take back the phone and hockey gear I got as a gift. When I asked for money for a school trip, my parents gave it to me, but then told me a month later that I had to miss a game to help my dad with housework to repay them for paying for the trip. I find it frustrating when a gift comes with secret conditions that I don't find out till weeks or months later. It feels less like a gift and more like a favor to call in later, or something to hold over my head. So when my birthday was coming up this year, my mom asked me what I wanted, and I said I'd rather skip gifts with the family. My mom asked me why, and I told her I think gifts are more stressful than pleasant, at least the way our family has done them. It seems like they treat gifts as something with conditions, but aren't clear what those conditions are when they're offering a gift. So then it feels like signing a contract that I wasn't allowed to read when I accepted a gift. I have no idea what I'll owe. And for the next few weeks or months, I'll be waiting for the other shoe to drop. I told her that I'd rather skip the family party and the gift giving and just do something chill with my friends. My mom was upset with me saying stuff about tradition and how she doesn't do that, and that I was cherry picking frustrations when most gifts aren't like that. I said I felt like it was more often than not. She told my dad about the conversation, and he was really upset with me, saying I was being ungrateful and that when I was living under his roof, there were going to be conditions. I couldn't just go do whatever I wanted whenever. I said, okay, but I'd rather not have those conditions linked to gift giving and holidays because it makes holidays unpleasant for me, and that he can have rules, but he can't make anyone take a gift if they've decided they don't want to accept gifts. I was grounded for talking back like that. Am I the idiot for telling my parents no birthday gifts? Not the idiot. You got grounded because they were called out on their BS, and they had nothing else to reply with. They retaliated instead. If you don't want gifts or parties, that's your choice. It's your birthday. And if they hold parties and gifts over your head as favors, they're more loan sharks than parents. Fully not the idiot here, but I would totally go one step further and either spend your gift cards right away or sell the gifts right away and put the money in a personal account. I don't know how old you are, but most banks will give you an account. Keep it away from your parents and don't let them know it exists. That way, when they come with conditions later, tell them it's gone or spent. And if they do put conditions right away, give it back. Or better yet, destroy it in front of their faces. I'm actually so proud of you. I'm 35 now and only realized my family's gifts were transactional about a decade ago. I could have saved myself a lot of grief if I had realized they were bad gift givers a long time ago. Stand your ground. Gifts with strings are not gifts, they're obligations.